Does Prince Harry have a prenuptial agreement with Meghan Markle to protect his vast royal assets and wealth? Now, the Mark Dolan show was the first show in the world to put Harry and Meghan on 24/7 divorce watch. Whether it's Meghan appointing a chief of staff and a massive team focused only on her career away from Harry, the body language at public events which screams Meghan wants out, not to mention the fact that the couple professionally, publicly and privately are living increasingly separate lives, it is 100% clear that there is trouble in paradise and that the marriage is not long for this world. And we know that Meghan has a long history of dumping those that have served their purpose. Everyone in Meghan Markle's world is expendable, including celebrity friends like Piers Morgan and others, her half-siblings, her ex-husband Trevor, the British royal family, and of course, her own father, the 80-year-old Thomas Markle Sr., who most likely will never meet his grandchildren. Now, it's absolutely certain that when it comes to the chopping board, Harry will be next. It's not a case of if, but when. Which is why, after extensive research, the Mark Dolan show can confirm that there is no prenuptial agreement between the couple, which means that the inevitable divorce will be a hellish car crash in slow motion for Prince Harry, who was naive and stupid enough to think that he would be, married to this woman for life, this woman who is famously narcissistic, social climbing and ruthless. He thought they would be together forever. What a fool. Now, the lack of a prenup is backed up from well-placed sources, notwithstanding research on the part of the Mark Dolan show, but we also have multiple royal biographies that confirm the fact that there's no prenup. Alongside the Daily Mail, the Telegraph, Vanity Fair and People magazine, there is no prenup, which means that Harry is in the doo-doo. Now, this has been corroborated by palace insiders, legal experts, and this guy is facing a total nightmare. Failure to have arranged a prenup will prove to be the biggest mistake of Prince Harry's life. And let's be honest, given the Duke's catalogue of terrible errors and bad judgment over the years, that is a very low bar. So according to reports, in 2018, before the wedding, Harry refused a prenup. The Daily Mail reported in March 2018 at the time, Harry's friends say he was determined not to sign a prenup. He's adamant that his marriage will be a lasting one, so there's no need for one. Now, those words will haunt the Duke for the rest of his life because Meghan Markle is going to clean him out, and I'm going to give you the numbers. It is not pretty reading. Now, royal insiders were said to be surprised and some furious, adding that he believed that love should not come with legal preconditions. So Harry, a romantic old fool, is ignoring the wisdom of lawyers, legal advisors, friends, family members, because he thinks that with Meghan, he was going to get everlasting love. What he didn't realise is that he'd been love-bombed by Meghan Markle during their courtship, in which she focused on him in every department of his life. She love-bombed him. She stared into his eyes. Goodness knows what happened in the bedroom, but let me just say that she focused all of her energies on pleasing Harry until she had that ring on her finger. So Harry was conned, he was tricked, and his great mistake was not signing that prenup. Now, Harry is known among palace insiders to be emotionally idealistic. The guy wears his heart on his sleeve. He is an emotional guy, possibly influenced by the tragic loss of his mother and a desire for stability on his own terms. So who could blame him for wanting everlasting love? We all want everlasting love, don't we? Of course we do. I mean, I have it with Mrs. Dolan in abundance. God forbid we should ever split. We don't have a prenup. There's no prenup between Mrs. Dolan and I because all I owned when we met was Elton John's greatest hits on CD. That was it. Which, by the way, I've considered to be a very valuable asset. But that's pretty much all I owned was an Elton John CD and a couple of shirts. That would have been it. That would have been it, folks. If we were to split, God forbid, who would get custody of my neighbour's cat, Reg? I wouldn't want to have that battle. Fur would fly. Now, what's unfortunate for Harry is that prenups among the royals is generally not the done thing. No British royalty or aristocracy have done them in the past. A lot of money is tied up in trust structures. Inheritances are locked in generations earlier. Family control property is held in the monarch's name or through crown estates. For example, William and Catherine did not sign a prenup, according to leading biographers and journalists. And Prince Charles and Diana didn't have one, although they did divorce, and the settlement was absolutely massive. By the way, William and Catherine didn't sign a prenup because they don't need one, because they are the dream couple, because Catherine is loyal, she is dignified, she's professional, she is a natural princess, she will be a natural queen. And William, being a man of keen judgment and intellect, understood that the day they met. He did his due diligence on Catherine. So there was no need for a prenup. And by the way, if things didn't work out between William and Catherine, God forbid, Catherine would be so reasonable about that. She would be so reasonable. She would not be a gold digger. That's not her nature. She wouldn't lower herself to that. She would say, listen, let's make a fair arrangement and we'll move on. Of course, it ain't going to happen. But that's why William didn't need a prenup. He knew that he could trust Catherine. Harry, on the other hand, marries a Z-list US TV actress and he thinks he's safe in her hands, legally and financially and emotionally. Well, she is going to take him down, and she's going to take him down to Chinatown. Charles and Diana, as I said, didn't have a prenup either, but the divorce was massive, which might have spoken for Charles signing that prenup all those years ago. Sarah Ferguson received a lump sum from Prince Andrew as well. So the royals don't do prenups, but Harry marrying a Z-list American actress should have thought twice about that, particularly given that he wound up moving to California, which is bad news for rich men who want a divorce, because you'll get taken to the cleaners. Meghan Markle is going to take him down. She's going to take him down to Chinatown. So, since relocating to California, where the Mark Dolan show will be on tour in late June, early July, Harry and Meghan are under American jurisdiction, especially California community property law. What this means is that California assumes a minimum 50-50 split of all assets. Now, that's bad news because Harry was a rich man when they met with loads and loads of assets. He will potentially lose half of that. Even Harry's ongoing income from UK trusts or family support could be something that Meghan gets her fingernails into. So Harry's personal wealth could be divided 50-50, which is a huge, huge own goal. Custody and schooling of Archie and Lily would be handled under US family courts. Now, that's another problem, because be clear, if things don't work out between Harry and Meghan, Harry will return to the UK because there is nothing keeping him in the United States. America's a great country. I'm about to go there. It's a stunning country. But it's not where Harry wants to be. Harry's a Brit. He wants to drink beer and hang out with his ex-soldier mates, play polo, and chase dim-witted, thick, blonde-haired women. That is his comfort zone. That's what Harry wants. Instead, he's married an anemic, heartless, soulless, narcissistic, sociopathic nightmare of a human being in Meghan Markle, who's turned him against his family, against his own country, and has trapped him in a Montecito mansion, a gilded cage, where I suspect he lives in an underground lair. And once a day, she just lowers a Wendy's takeout in a bucket.
Thanks for my Wendy's, my love. I really love their burgers. Humpy-dumpy-dumpy-dump. Prince Harry, the world's least happy millionaire.
Well, I tell you something, folks. He's going to be even less angry. He's going to be less happy when they divorce. Divorce. Tammy Wynette, what an artist. So, he'll be not just the least happy millionaire, he'll be the least happy thousandaire, because he's going to be stony broke when Meghan's done with him. And custody of the kids is a problem because he's not happy in America. When they split, he'll move back to the UK. That is a fact. That is a cast iron, copper-bottomed fact that Prince Harry will return to the UK upon their divorce, because it's his home, it's where he wants to be, it's where his father and brother are, and his heart is in the place. Probably rural England is where he'd like to be, and he wants to get back into that royal family, I guarantee you. And without Meghan on the scene, that would be the one positive dividend. The only thing of value he'd get from that divorce is his freedom and his ability to return as a frontline royal and a member of his own family again. Here's a question for you in the comments. Would you accept Harry as a serving frontline member of the royal family post-divorce to Meghan? Would you accept that? Would you be comfortable with Harry back in the UK and around the world representing the king, who at some point will be his brother, lol? Would you accept Harry back into frontline royal duties? Let me know in the comments, because the comments, they're not part of the show. They are the show. By the way, I got an announcement about the show. Shall I do it now? Let me do it now, because I've got to tell you that I'm going to make a goal. I'm on my own, okay? This show is the most honest show in the world. It's the fastest moving. If there's a story, I jump on air and I get it straight to you. So the show is news reactive. It's authentic, it's honest, it belongs to you. But the production of it is very limited. It is my good self, okay, and my neighbour's cat, Reg. We are pretty much, that is the production team of the Mark Dolan show. So it's difficult to guarantee when videos come out, but I'm going to have a goal. I'm going to aim to release every Mark Dolan show video at 4:45 p.m. daily. 4:45 p.m. daily UK time. And so let me just tell you what that is in regular money. I've got to do this now with my glasses, which is take the glasses off to actually see what's on the phone, which is, I'm afraid, a sign of the aging process. So what we're going to do, I'm going to aim, and I can't guarantee it because you have technical problems and there are days when the news breaks and it slows you down, whatever. I might get affected by my neighbour's cat, Reg, but I'm going to aim to post the Mark Dolan show every day at 4:45 p.m. What time? 4:45. That is the goal. Sometimes it might be 7 p.m. and I'll apologise. But the goal is to drop the show every day. 4:45 p.m. UK time is 11:45 a.m. on the US East Coast. So that's early lunchtime, US East Coast, 11:45. US West Coast, 8:45 a.m. First thing in the morning. Australia and New Zealand, it's either late night or early hours. So there you go. The Mark Dolan show, 4:45 p.m. daily UK time, 11:45 a.m. US East Coast, 8:45 a.m. US West Coast, Australia early hours. What do you think? The other thing is I'm going to do occasional short videos, which I'll call Mark's Hot Take. They'll be 8 to 10 minutes long, and they will feature other topics, such as why America has fallen out of love with Oprah Winfrey, and why Kim Kardashian is now openly trolling and mocking and getting sweet revenge on her monstrous husband, ex-husband, Kanye West. So short videos will pop up here and there, 8 to 10 minutes long, different times of the day. And they're separate from the Mark Dolan show. The Mark Dolan show, 4:45 p.m. every day, UK time, with occasional short hot take videos, which are supplementary to the main show, which will pop up here and there, just to keep you entertained and to keep mixing it up. You are welcome. Now, the problem you've got with the custody of Archie and Lily is that if Harry moves to the UK and the split is arranged under Californian law, then he could lose the kids. And that would be a brutal irony, wouldn't it? Because Thomas Markle Sr. has never had the kids, and now his own son-in-law Harry could lose the kids too, because Meghan has rather cleverly taken Harry to California, where a split would make her incredibly rich and give her potentially far more access to Archie and Lily. What a high price Prince Harry has paid to marry that woman, with no protection. So there is no UK royal precedent for a high-profile divorce playing out under American law, but it won't be good. Tabloid exposure and legal costs will be massive. It will cost Harry millions in lawyers' fees, and he still only gets half of what he's currently got. It'll be horrible PR for a member of the royal family, because he is still a member of the royal family, who generally don't like talking about public matters, private matters publicly. And of course, that's what the whole thing will be. It'll be headlines galore every day. That divorce, by the way, it won't take months. It'll take years, years. It'll take years. I owe nobody royalties for that. That's my own composition. You're welcome. Now, let's have a look at what Harry has actually got. What's he worth? So he inherited $15 million from Princess Diana, his mother, which he received on his 30th birthday. Nice work if you can get it. He inherited around $12 million from the Queen Mother when she, when he turned a certain age, when he turned 30. And that was a lovely thing because he shares that with William, $6 million. So that's $6 million in his back pocket from the late Queen Mother. His military salary, royal stipends, 10 years in the British Army, pension, and of course, royal cash, estimated at $2 million after taxes. Then, of course, there's the money the couple have made since they moved to California, the Spotify deal, of which they may have picked up around $10 million, even though it was cancelled because Harry's ideas were described by an executive at Spotify as embarrassing. The Netflix deal is worth tens of millions of dollars as well. They've likely received between 20 and 30 million so far. They may not get more if the couple continue to be this unpopular. There's the book deal. So Harry got 20 million for Spare. Half of that goes to Meghan straight away, no questions asked. It was his book, his story, his family, his royal connections. Meghan gets half. Meanwhile, he's got speaking appearances up to $1 million per speech. I would pay $1 million. I would do a crowdfund of $1 million to pay Harry not to speak to me. I would set up a GoFundMe and I would raise $1 million to avoid having Prince Harry speak to me or deliver a speech in my direction. If I had $1 million. So the annual revenue could be upwards of $4 million for the lunatics that wish to hear Prince Harry speak. By the way, why do they get Prince Harry? Are they interested in his words of wisdom? Do me a favour. He is cashing in on his royal connections. The reason why he makes all that money for his speeches is not because of the Harry bit. It's the Prince bit. It's the fact that he's the son of the King of the United Kingdom. And that's why no one cares what Harry thinks, including, by the way, the Chinese. How disloyal of Harry to go to China, right, to lecture all of us about carbon emissions and about net zero and the planet, whilst he goes on a jet across the world to China when he could have done it all on his computer via video link. And he goes to China, which is a dangerous totalitarian regime, which is a clear and proven enemy of the West. It's an enemy of everyone that watches this show, including Americans, Canadians, South Africans, Brits, the Irish, the Romanians, the whole of Europe, North and South America, Australia, New Zealand, and beyond. Now, the Chinese people, no problem, amazing, great people, warm, welcoming. I've been to China, had a great time, but the regime is incredibly corrupt and very dangerous. Harry goes there, puts his face to the whole project, which is a massive embarrassment, not just for King Charles, but for the entire British government. So back to the divorce settlement, Harry will lose at least half of everything, including that extraordinary mansion in Montecito. By the way, the Mark Dolan show going on the road to the United States in just a few weeks' time. We'll be reporting live from Montecito. Unmissable stuff. Now, that mansion is worth $20 million. That'll be divided down the middle if Harry's lucky. By the way, then there are the security liabilities for the foreseeable future. Now, their security costs are estimated to be $3 million a year. So Harry will be on the hook for the security of himself, obviously, his children, and he'll be paying for Meghan Markle's security long after they have parted ways. So it's going to be devastating. Overall, Harry's net worth is $60 million. He'll be lucky if he walks away with half of that. Imagine that. Imagine taking a $30 or $35 million bath for the privilege of a few years with Meghan Markle, my husband H. What a high price this man has paid. Now let's have a look at Meghan's assets and her value. When she entered that relationship with Harry, she was a Z-list TV actress. She was starring in a legal drama called Suits, which was actually filmed in Canada to save money. It was not a big deal. This was not The Sopranos, folks. This was not Breaking Bad. It was bad. It wasn't Breaking Bad. Now, her salary reportedly grew to $50,000 per episode. It wouldn't have started at that. She was an unknown when she got the gig. It was the part of, the job of her dreams to get that part. Probably started on $10,000 a episode. She gets to 50K. So over 100 episodes, optimistically, maybe she made $2 million. Okay. Then you've got agent fees and management, and you got taxes. She lived in California, so she paid plenty of taxes. She is left with the best part of $600,000. That's what she was worth when she met Harry. Not even a millionaire. Now, Harry was so naive. Why was he naive enough not to do a prenup? Well, he's an idealistic character, according to his friends, and he's known for emotion and idealism over pragmatism. Probably the same reason why he then impulsively did that traitorous BBC interview and why he wrote that terrible book. Reportedly viewed a prenup as a lack of trust, Mayer felt that his position as a royal was protected through trusts and non-liquid assets. Well, let me tell you that some of California's finest and most ruthless attorneys will be going through those royal properties, and they will seek to strip any asset that they can. And they're very good at what they do. And by the way, can you imagine how angry King Charles will be to see his own royal legacy picked apart by ruthless Californian lawyers who'll be on the phone going, yeah, man, we want to take that castle. We'll have that castle there. We'll take that river. See that big field over there with organic cows? We'll take that too. We'll take all of it. Because honestly, you do not mess with the Californian lawyers. They'll be hoovering up royal assets like a gigantic Dyson. And it'll be a terrible thing. And King Charles will be angry and Harry will be stony broke. Now, a lot of this is down to class. UK upper classes rarely use prenups. It's seen as tacky and transactional. Except that Meghan Markle is transactional. She is tacky. And so Harry should have thought about that. And the other issue is that advisors to Harry at the time, I mean, they begged him to get a prenup, but they weren't aware that Megxit would happen, that he would be taken away from his own country. They'd relocate to the United States. And that's where any divorce deal would be hammered out. They didn't think of that. They were arguably just as naive as he was. And the thing is, even when it's amicable, these royal splits are acrimonious. So Diana and Charles. Diana received a lump sum payment of $21 million, which is equivalent to $50 million today, adjusted for inflation. That is a lot of money, $50 million. An annual allowance of just under $1 million a year for a private office and operational costs. She agreed not to receive regular alimony in exchange for that very large amount of money. She lost her title of HRH, and because she was a dignified person, she didn't use it, unlike Harry and Meghan, who promised not to use HRH and then continued to do so. She became Diana, Princess of Wales. She retained her Kensington Palace apartment. She kept access to royal family events at the Queen's discretion. She kept a good relationship with the family because she had class. So, yes, she pocketed a lot of cash, but it could have been so much worse if Charles and Diana had divorced in California and Diana was a bit part, money-grabbing, narcissistic, Z-list actress. Luckily, Diana was not. Andrew and Fergie, Prince Andrew, Sarah Ferguson, they split as well. They were married for 10 years. They divorced in 1996. And Sarah Ferguson got $4 million, which is roughly about $10 million now. She gave up any ongoing income. Fantastic. So it wasn't acrimonious. She actually stayed in the Royal Lodge for a while in Windsor, and she's actually back there now. I actually think that Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew should remarry. And she could make this guy respectable again and get him back into kind of a decent public image. Don't you think? What do you let me know in the comments? Do you think that Andrew and Sarah should remarry and make a good man of him again so that he can make a positive contribution? The bottom line is that they split, but it was friendly and she got $10 million. Harry and Meghan split will not be friendly. It will be acrimonious. Won't it? We know that. And Meghan will throw Harry away. And do you know something? Not only will she fleece him, he's worth $60 million. She'll take 30, 35, 40. He could be left he could be left with $20 million and the shirt on his back. But not just that, he could be on the hook for ongoing alimony so that Meghan can maintain the lifestyle to which she is accustomed for years and years and years. In fact, the best part of 15 years. Because how old is Lily? She's about 3 or 4. I think she's 4 now. So that's 14 years, folks. 14 years of keeping Meghan in the lifestyle to which she is accustomed. Except that before they met, she was accustomed to a humble existence, a small apartment in Los Angeles, and she was a jobbing actress. So that was her real lifestyle. But now she's gone up in the world because she married a prince. Now, I don't wish divorce on anyone. I think it's deeply unfortunate. But I think what happened is that Harry was tricked into marriage. He fell in love. Meghan did her best acting performance of her career in seducing a prince. And he walked into it blind, and it's going to be very emotionally, reputationally, and financially expensive. And just like all the other problems in his life, Prince Harry only has himself to blame. We could have predicted this, but he was too naive and he was too stupid. I think even now, in 2025, he still thinks he's in love and he still thinks he's in this magical relationship, this fairy tale romance, which is going to go on forever. But deep down, even though he's as thick as 2 short planks and 1 geranium short of a flower patch, I still think that in his most reflective moments, he knows he made a mistake and he knows that he will be paying an almighty price. There you go, folks. It's been great to chat. Can't wait for the next video. Remember, the video now drops at 4:45 p.m. UK time every day. That's the plan, at least. And that's 8:45 a.m. US West Coast and 11:45 a.m. on the East Coast. Late night and early hours in the Antipodes. Folks, catch up for the next one. Stay awesome. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.